day I've been postponing this day forever, which is cleaning, decluttering, and redecorating my room. So a big thing that has been happening. So a really big thing I've been going through is the famous SLUMP era, and going through that it's been difficult. I think that's better, lady. So we're gonna talk about that. So my SLUMP era has lasted literally almost the entire year because a bunch of things happened. I got sick. I got re-injured in my bad leg, by the way. And then I switched career paths, not once but twice or 3 times, which I never thought would happen because I'm super. My parents are with the loyalty to a company type of thing, so I was I'm always gonna be there for I'm probably just gonna be there for a good amount of time because that's the only place I know. But apparently not. So then that happened. Friendship breakups, heartbreaks too. Crying every single night because the life was not working out, college was not working out, and I didn't know what to do because you know how they always say going from high school to college is hard. Well, yes, it was hard for me at least, but you know what was harder was the fact that people who, and it's not only me, but I've heard other people who were straight A students or who were really good at school when they were younger, when they get to college, that whole thing dynamic changes totally completely. Obviously not only because of the teacher dynamic and the classes are obviously harder because they're at an upper level, but the fact that everything changes, you change, people change, life changes, everything changes, and you don't know how to deal with that. You're still trying to find yourself. And I guess that was the hardest part, because I always identified myself oh, I'm a good student, I'm good at school, that's the only thing I'm good at pretty much. And having it hit yourself on the face when going to college, I was wait, hold up. But I think I only had a year transition into that where I finally got my ground. I knew where I was and I was okay, I found my methods. Obviously the rest of the 3 years were still a learning experience, but by the first year I got in a routine, kind of how to grind into the whole studying, how to study, who to look for, all of the things you need. And obviously I started getting better and better, but by the first year I tried to figure my life out because I was I'm not gonna waste a lot of time because then it's just gonna become harder. So, and then some of my years were good, but then I was I'm just literally in the library, just in the books. And you know what? I want to enjoy my youth. So I started hanging out with people. I started talking to people. I am a little on the shy side, so getting myself to open up to people was a little bit hard. Social media helped me with that, but that's another story. And little by little, my priorities were still in study, but it was also in connections, and not really just to, how a lot of people are oh no, you should do connections when you're in college because it's really going to help you, and people just see other people as a benefit, which I get it, and yes, some people will help you out and that will get you further in your career, but I was thinking more of human connection, actual friends, or at least friends that were that we had something in common. Maybe they're not my forever best friend for life, but they are my friend for a good season, or for example friends who are always free, for example to talk or to go eat. Those are my to go out friends, to brunch or lunch. And then you have your other friends that maybe you don't talk a lot, but whenever you have problems, those are your problem friends. You guys can talk, you guys can open up, you guys can cry to each other, and they won't put that against you or make fun of you. And then there are some other friends. Some other friends are just homework friends who you kind of get along to, people when you kind of get along to, and you work together, you make it work, you try to make connections because you know that for that a few years or for certain projects you're going to have to be there for a season. So it's better to become friends or at least tolerate those people in order for the project to actually be successful. So all of that I learned, and I learned that when I started wanting to make friends, I wanted them to be for a lifetime, and that's something that college also taught me, was that some people are not going to be for a lifetime. You keep looking for people for a lifetime, and not all people are like that. And some people, it's okay. You're not going to hold it against them because, hold on, I hate this weight heavy plastic bag that I have there. There you go. So it's don't hold them against them. Everyone's different. Everybody wants different stuff. So that is something that I learned, that not everybody's there forever. But you can make the best out of it. So that's how I had friendship breakups. But I learned from every single person. I had friends that I needed to show me, to teach me something, not to be so, I want to say welcoming, but so naive into letting people just in my life, So I learned a lot from them. They also, within conversations, they tell you some of them have more experience in the workforce or have people in the same workforce you want to start in. So that actually also helps even though they were not friends for a lifetime, they did teach me certain stuff that helped me in some kind of way, whether emotionally, career-wise, or just like emotional. Anyway, so 2024 was a little bit better than 2023, but then like 2024, I thought at first, and then everything went downhill, and then but thinking back to everything that I learned and that I'm kind of like good in health-wise, which I'm just recovering from a cold if you can hear my voice, I'm actually grateful for 2024, but literally 2024 was my whole slump era, and I'm still not out of it. The truth, everybody knows me as being like super like peppy and like joyful and super positive, but being like that is super super hard, trust me, especially when life is not going your way. And you're like, well, it doesn't work out for everybody. Like, why are you making such a big deal out of it? Well, since I was little, I had a plan, and that's something else that I learned in 2024. Just because you have a plan A, B, C, D, all the way to Z, and you follow those steps, doesn't mean that it's gonna happen. And sometimes the plan derails, the train derails, and that's like, don't punish yourself, don't beat yourself up just because your plan didn't go like with the whole itinerary, you know. And that was something that I also had to learn, because I was like, no, but I planned it and I did this and I did everything that I was supposed to. And that's when I also started to like beat myself up of like, you know, I didn't do this, I didn't hang out, I didn't like go on trips, I didn't party, I didn't do this. And just because I wanted my plan to work out, and then for my plan not to work out, it's like I gave up a lot of stuff, and then for life not to work out, like that was super hard to take. And that is something that I'm still learning. But something other than just explaining my problems, maybe have them too with school, with work. I know me transitioning into a different career path was very eye-opening to me, because I never thought that would happen. But something I do want to let you, like, also in this video is show you the different ways I learned to cope with the slump era and try to get out of it. I'm not going to be like videos or like people who are like, I totally survived it, like I totally know, because I'm still in the process, but I've been working on things, and those things have actually helped me try to get out of it. A lot of videos and people I've seen, oh, your slump era is just because you're lazy, you don't want to do this, you lost what's it called, passion or whatever. And for me, that's not it. Like, yes, maybe it's a little procrastination or laziness, but it also comes from the fact that at least I am very driven and very passionate. And because where was I? So it's not laziness, like it can be procrastination, but at least for me, it's not only that. The fact that my whole life there was like a reason to be doing stuff, which was my goal. When that goal shattered, when that dream shattered, my whole life turned like a 180 degrees. And finding my purpose, finding my meaning, because I lost all center of purpose. That was my dream, that was my passion, and when I lost that, it was like, you have no purpose, you have no meaning. Like, what else are you gonna do? That's the only thing you had going on for you. Because through the fact that I had just started, like, you know, opening up, like having friendships and people in my life other than my family, so I was like, I don't have anything else, you know, to rely on. And the fact that when that happens is also when you are an adult. I'm in my early 20s, so by a certain 20s age, or at least everyone else around me, everyone has like what career they want to do, or at least a dream they want to do. And since mine shattered, I had no idea what else to do with my life. So something that really started to help was, if you are religious, you know, pray. But mine was more like gratitude, because I started to go into a mindset where like nothing is important, like everything is garbage, like nothing is worth anything, you know. And that is not a great mindset to be. I stopped caring about the way I look, and I still kind of do, but I just started going down that rabbit hole, and it's not healthy. So one of the things I did was gratitude. Start forcing myself, because maybe you're not super there yet, but when something like, when the slump era, and like a real slump era happens, you just don't care about anything. And everything, like you see a cloud, you see a bird, you hate everything. You turn in like a Grinch type of thing into a Scrooge. You hate life, you hate people, everybody. So I started to forcefully force myself to gratitude, to say, to be grateful for things. And sometimes we forget because we're like, oh no, I'm healthy, oh, I have a job, or I have this. Sometimes we take for granted stuff. So we have to be grateful. So one of the things I did was in a journal. I still have it. I stopped doing it, but sometimes I remember myself throughout the week, like, oh, what are you grateful for today? So when I was in my, well, not still, but like in my journal, I did at least 3 things you're grateful for. It can be anything. It could be like, for a TV show that made me laugh, for these gummy bears that my parents gave me because they know they're my favorite, and they're like, they went to the store and they're like, hey, we bought you your favorite gummy bears. And then I remember for the shirt I was wearing because I really, really liked it, and I was grateful for whoever made it because I loved the pattern. And little things like that, you're like, what does that have to do? That's like super, like, basic and like not even important. But when you're in your slump era, starting to learn like the importance of stuff and um like being grateful for stuff is very, very important. So you can start by the little things like I did. I remember one time I put like, oh, I'm grateful for, I don't know what I put, but it was like, or like a pretty sunset that I saw. And like little by that, I started getting better. And at least sometimes I don't always do it. Before I used to like force myself like every single day to do it, but then now sometimes I just do it like maybe once a week, once like maybe 2-3 times a month. But that is something I do urge you to do. Meditate into what you're grateful for, and then if you're religious, like me, I started going back to church. Which is something that I had what's it called, been absent from because of like, I was like, oh, I'm super busy at college and stuff, like I don't have time, blah 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 blah. And so I made up excuses. That's the truth. I made up excuses, and I stopped going. Now I'm back. I'm into the youth group. I am helping out as leader, and even though I am a leader, I've learned. Even though I'm a leader now, I'm like serving other people. While the few breaks that we have, I listen, and I've really grown. Not only my faith, but in like life in general. Finding a purpose with the things that happen, with the world, with my life, with my problems, and that sooner or later this is gonna pass. So that is something I urge you to do. That's one of the first things I did throughout my slump era. My second one is something like I said, when you're in like a slump era, a lot of people are like, oh, you stop caring, or you're just lazy. It's not laziness. It's the fact that you don't care about yourself anymore. And mine hit me because of my whole like career and my dream shattered. So I was like, I had no purpose into literally getting out of bed or going to school or doing whatever. So obviously I would go to school because all of my life I had that mindset of, grind, work, study, group, like just like put your head in the books. Like I've always been like that. So I other than also forcing myself to just do that, show up. I was like, just show up. That is also one of the things I did. Just show up. You don't want, just show up. Maybe you're not listening to the professor. Maybe you're not doing great at whatever you are doing. Just show up. That is something that I also did. But one of the things that you stop caring about like your appearance. Sometimes I still am like I'm like I'm just gonna wear like whatever jeans and baggy shirt that I can find, and that's how I'm gonna go for it. The first times. Later, I didn't want it to grow into a way of not caring about myself, about my health. I just started like eating whatever. So give yourself some grace. Yes, like if you don't want to necessarily eat broccoli that day, or if you don't want to dress up super fancy in a dress, and you're just gonna go in your baggy shirt comfort style, that's fine. But something that I started to do after I think like 2-3 years that I saw myself like that, I was like, no, this is not working out the months. So something I started to do, which I also urge you, the third thing, is to put a little effort. So for example, if you're always to go to are some baggy jeans and a baggy shirt, for example, and you're a girl, just put a little mascara, put a little lipstick, and keep on wearing your baggy shirt. Um, Comb your hair, make a little ponytail, and then tomorrow, same thing. Oh, you don't want this? You're wearing your baggy style. Okay, maybe go for some more fitted jeans with your baggy shirt, and start like improving from there. Because something that I've learned, even though it sounds weird and it may sound vain, the way you look can help you feel better. So if you look, for example, maybe you don't feel like it, but you put on lipstick, or maybe you put on makeup. I don't really use a lot of makeup. One, I didn't know how to use it until last year, and two, because I have very acne prone skin. So if I use makeup one day, next day, I'm like, I break out. I don't know why. It's not scientifically proven, but that's my skin, so that's what happens. So, but I've seen that sometimes I try to look, whenever I feel my worst, that is something that I started to do. Whenever I feel my worst, I try to look my best. Not always, but some of the days where I'm like super bad and I have to leave the house, I'm like, I'm gonna force myself to like actually look nice, to actually do this, to put like something that's not my usual comfort baggy stuff. And later on, when I'm in the store and I pass by a window or a mirror at a Walmart or whatever, and I look myself in the mirror or in the window, I'm like, hey, I actually look pretty today. And then I just leave. And so looking better does help you feel better. So try it out. Do it slowly. Obviously, don't put on like the best makeup or a full dress, to leave the house every single day. But try little by little. If you're a guy too, like, maybe if you're to go to is, what's it called? Your baggy shirt and your, what do guys wear? Like the gym pants, the sweatpants. Oh, try to use jeans and your baggy shirt. Try to use shorts and your baggy shorts and your baggy shirt. So it's like, you try to improve, try to force yourself to look a little bit nicer than just your comfort style, because after a while, it like, it makes a difference. So the way you look, is you feel better. So I've tried it before. Sometimes I do not care because I'm still in my slump era and I'm like, I'm gonna go like this, too bad. But something I've compromised on, that's for me. I bought this lip gloss, which is like super super, what's it called, transparent, but it has like it's gloss, right? So it shines and it smells good. So I was like, I don't know, I'm gonna wear my baggy thing, but I'm gonna wear my lip gloss. And I was like, okay, now I feel like pretty or whatever. So that always that is something that also helped me. Something else, when at least when I'm in my slump era, and I'm not even just in my slump era, when you're not feeling it, you don't want to talk to anybody. At least me, like, I isolate myself from everybody, and that's not necessarily good, because then you're just with the whole overthinking and the monsters inside your head saying, hey, you're not doing this, or you're doing this bad, or you're not this, or whatever. So something I do, which was a little hard for me too at the beginning, was at least hang out with somebody one day a month. You're like, but that's hard, plan it ahead of time. Whenever I want to see a friend, I tell them like a month, maybe 4 weeks in advance. Be like, hey, are you gonna be available this month? Maybe I wanna reconnect. And whenever you do that, whenever you reconnect with somebody, yes, maybe you can talk about your problems, but not necessarily, because something that I've learned, at least when I was younger, friends who always, like, you tell your problems to and you don't let them talk, like it's only you talking, that will break a friendship. And it has happened to me before, where I had a friend and it was always the same thing, but she never cared about me. And then whenever I had a problem, she'd be like, no, no, because whatever. So don't be that friend. It hurts. We had a friendship breakup. But so whenever you're with that friend, yes, maybe, you know, interact like a little bit of your life. Oh, how have you been? Oh, I've been doing this, and try to focus on the positive things. Be like, try to remember, you know. I always prepare myself. I'm like, what am I gonna tell her when she asks me, how has your year been? Because I barely saw a friend that I haven't seen since last October, and I was like, what happened? So I started only recollecting like the good stuff that has happened to me, and that way, like, you're going with positive, and then your friend too, she's like, oh, I did this, I went on a trip, my father's birthday, we did this, blah blah blah, and it's more of a better connection. And other than also like hanging out, always have like something fun to do. Sometimes um you just talk, and you can talk in like 30 minutes, 30 minutes, and then you have nothing else to do. So something I started to do was like, so I bought some like coloring pages to do in the coffee shop. Or we're like, oh, let's play this game, or have you heard this trend? Or we started gossiping about the newest trends on TikTok, or the artists, like the whole gossiping about who broke up with who. So it's like, talk other than your problems, talk about other stuff, and hang out with them. Try to be in that moment. And that is something that has also helped me, because when you hang out with other people, not only do you notice like the good things, like maybe for example you haven't smiled, you haven't laughed in a whole month, and when you're with them, like everything changes. At least for me, my friends bring out, even though maybe I'm not super happy at that time of my life, they bring out that happiness, my personality back. And so I urge you to do that too. And it also, with that, you also learn that you're not the only one struggling. Like, they will also tell you, hey, I'm struggling with this and this and this. Obviously, hopefully, the whole focus of the meeting is not to just like trauma dump each other, but or like problem dump each other, but actually sharing and making like a nice, pretty, positive memory. But you also learn through that like talk, or like that hangout, that you're not the only one that has problems. Other people are having it the same or even worse than you. And that really helps you ground yourself in like, hey, you know what? Yes, I'm having problems. Yes, maybe my life is not working out right now, but hey, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one, and sooner or later this has to pass. You know, don't stop trying, and that is something that I am currently struggling with, because I just gave up, and I can wholeheartedly tell you, I give up on my dream, on that, and right now I'm just in autopilot, and that's okay too. But something that I started seeing, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to live like this just because I have to like do this or do that. So something that I started to do is, yes, live daily. Like, don't worry about tomorrow, because you don't even know that you're gonna wake up tomorrow. So just go by daily. So like, okay, today's agenda is this, this, and this. But always do something that you enjoy a day. Maybe watch a 15-minute video, your favorite YouTuber, listen to your favorite songs. Maybe if you don't always, for example, buy yourself Doritos, maybe, you know what, today I'll eat a little bit. Don't eat the whole bag because it's not super healthy. But do something that you like. Live day by day, but do something that you like within those days. I'm gonna say, which I have been absent for the last 4 months, is go to the gym. And you're like, great. I was like, no, because as in Legally Blonde, she says, when you do exercise, you get endorphins, and endorphins help you not unalive your husband. That's the literal quote of the movie, endorphins really, really help you out. That is something that I learned, and I became a gym rat. I fell in love with the gym. I have been absent the last 3-4 months, but something I urge you to do is do at least 15 minutes exercise. 5 minutes exercise. At least, you know what? 5 minutes. That's how I started, little by little. And you're like, no, I don't feel like it today. Make it a routine. At least 5-15 minutes. Go to the gym or go walk your dog, run, jog, whatever exercise you want to do, but do some kind of exercise. Sometimes I would be like, I don't want to go to the gym because I have a college, so I already paid for that gym. And I'll be like, the only reason sometimes I would show up to the gym was because I was like, I already paid. I paid 1,600 for this gym. I was like, yeah, I have to go. We have gym fees. So I was like, I paid a certain amount of money. I was like, you have to go. And sometimes, like, for example, I don't really know the amount, but I started increasing that. The more lazy I was to go, I was like, I paid 10,000 because I didn't obviously pay 10,000. It's like 900, 1,200. So I would first like, you paid for it. And I was like, at least show up 5 minutes. And then once you're there 15 minutes, you're like, you actually get the endorphins kick in, and you're like, hey, you know what? No, yes. And you start doing exercise, you start running. I started with, what's it called? Kinesthetics, which is just like your body weight, and it's like, you don't really need any like machinery or anything, you just need a mat. And then from there, I started going to the weight section. I fell in love with like weights and stuff. I'm super bad at running, so I don't do running, but I know a lot of girls who really like running, or people who are runners now. That's the whole trend right now. Or you can do the Pilates princess. So like there's a bunch of things you can do at the gym or in any space in regards to exercise. So those are the 5 things I've done, and it has actually helped me. I have a better positive outlook on life, and it has really helped me with my slump era. I'm still going because you can always go back, you know. You always like refall again, or what's it called? Relapse. So it's an ongoing process. Like don't be discouraged just because you're like, oh, I've been in this, bad place and it's been 3 months and I thought I was gonna get over it in 2 weeks. That has happened to me. So don't be scared, little by little. And that is something that I want to share with you because I know I'm not the only one. And I've seen other videos because I was like, I'm in my slump era, let's watch videos. And some of the videos were just like, some of them, not all of them, are like, oh no, you're lazy, just get up and wake up at 5 in the morning. Girl, don't do that. Like, if you want to, go ahead. But I've done it, and no. It does not work. You just get more, you just resent the whole thing more. And, what's it called? I'm not an early bird, so that doesn't work at all. And you start hating the process, and you just give up. And the point of the whole trying to get better and, like, get with your life and, like, get up back on your feet is to stay on your feet. And not just to be good for a few 2-3 months and then go back into it. And sacrificing a lot of stuff. So, sacrificing your sleep. Do not sacrifice your sleep, please. So anyways, that is something that I want to share with you. How to get over your slump era. It's a work in progress. And it doesn't matter whatever you're going through. It can be your career, your job, your school. Like, being in that mindset, the slump era, because there's worse ways to call it, but being in that era is not healthy for anybody. And I really urge everybody to work on themselves. You can use these 5 things I've learned throughout my way, and you're like, oh, I was like, I've lived through it, and it's been like, what, a year and a half? I've relapsed. I've been getting better, and then I give up, whatever. So I urge everybody to work on themselves. And even though maybe you're not in your slump era right now, maybe you're your best era, and I am so proud of you. But you can also implement these 5 things I've said within your life. There's nothing bad with them. I think they're a very positive way to live life, because sometimes we forget, for example, like I said, to be grateful. Maybe your friends, maybe you don't always reach out, and we shouldn't always reach out when you have problems. Like, what I like to do is like reach out, like to make a positive memory together, not to just cry to each other and or tell you all my problems, and then I'm good and I leave, and then I leave you with all my problems, you know? So I hope you like this video. I'm going to be putting more videos, uploading stuff. I do daily vlogs, random stuff that I do. I took a dance class last semester, so I uploaded that. And it's just like my online diary. So if you're interested in whatever I have to say in my life, or just because you're bored, watch the videos. Anyways, bye. Hope you have an awesome day.